Buddhism and the Book of Five Rings. Much has been made of Musashi's Buddhism, and, paradoxically, his lack of the same. In the very beginning of the Book of Five Rings, he tells us that before starting the book, he bowed in veneration to heaven, worshipped Kannon, and stood before the Buddha. A few lines later, he informs us that in writing this book, I am not borrowing the ancient words of Buddhism. And then, I will express the heart of truth, using the ways of heaven and Kanzeon as mirrors. Accordingly, we can see that Musashi had something of Buddhism in his heart, but he would not try to give his experiences and words legitimacy by invoking Buddhism in his words. It is clear in the Book of Five Rings that the Zen Buddhist insistence on absolute personal experience and transcendence of the interfering self is one of the touchstones of Musashi's thought. We also have the tradition of his relationship with the Zen priest Takuan and the Hosokawa records of his studying Zen under Abbot Shunzan. But Zen Buddhism was hardly the only religion during Musashi's time. Honami Koetsu came from a long line of Nichiren sect Buddhists, and indeed, most of the artists at his colony in Takagamine belonged to that sect. Hosokawa Tadaoki's wife, Gracia, was a Japanese Christian, although Tadaoki was not. Then there is the Shingon Buddhist faith, which has run like an undercurrent in Japanese culture since the 8th century, a sect which believes that anything of beauty, in nature or in art, partakes of the Buddha nature. Could Musashi, as a wanderer through the countryside and an artist, have been immune to such ideas? How much did Musashi's religious convictions or practices influence his martial art? The Book of Five Rings gives us only a hint, but it is worthwhile, I think, to look at that hint with a little more focus. The Five Rings, which is both part of the title and forms the structure of the book, refers to the Buddhist theory of the five elements, and Musashi gives only a short statement for the choice of this motif. Earth, because it symbolized his fundamental view of the martial arts. Water, because of his own style based on fluidity and purity. Fire, or battle, because of its energy and ability for quick change. Wind, the other style, because of the double meaning, wind and style, of the Chinese character. And emptiness, because this is ultimately the place from which all other activities come. The five elements come from a long religious tradition and are used as objects of meditation in many different ways. Musashi, inquisitive as he was, would have been at least conversant with these.